That is an amazing place.
It is a place where people can come to pray. It's very spiritual.
Hevreh is the first time I felt Jewish.
Hevreh is a place where one can feel really comfortable.
Hevreh's warmth, community.
It's the best place to do Jewish.
I could talk about Hevreh from now until next year.
Hevreh is alive and vibrant and an exciting place to be.
Hevreh is our Jewish home.
It's the lifeline of the Jewish community in Great Barrington.
Hevreh is a loving community.
Hevreh is very welcoming and fun.
Hevreh is the congregation I wouldn't want to be without.
I'm Susan Salzman, and I've been a member of Hevreh since 1973.
4.
I am Joan Gellert, and I have been a member of Hevreh for either 37 or 38 years.
I'm Halise Pacheni, and I've been members of Hevreh, this wonderful congregation, for 24 years, 25 years.
We've been members of Hevreh since, I think, 1991. We don't have the exact date, but somewhere around then.
We were not charter members, but very early members. And my entire family loves Hevreh. And we still do. That's our heart is in Hevreh.
The story I tell over and over is that story when we first walked into the senior center. And it was like when we first walked into our house, and we looked at a lot of houses before we bought our house. And we walked into the kitchen of the house, and they had a pot of tomatoes on the wood stove or something. And we knew that was the house right there. It was the same thing with Hevreh. But when we walked into Hevreh, we knew that was the place.
The minute I walked into the building, I was welcomed by Sol and Hilda Kaminsky in the old building in the kitchen, as if I was their long-lost granddaughter. And for me, that just sealed it.
I wanted more, than just the occasional attendance, and I found it with Hevreh.
Saw the building being built and came to see what it was like at a service and just fell in love with everything.
Hevreh just embraced us from the minute we walked in the door.
The reason I got affiliated with Hevreh was that, first of all, we were strange people in the community. There were very few Jews.
Here in the Berkshires, there weren't a lot of Jewish people, and we all wanted to know who the other ones were. And one day somebody organized a meeting in somebody's house, and we got together and talked about ways we could be Jewish together, and that's really how it started.
The congregation had not affiliated with the Reform movement at that point at all, did not have a rabbi, did not have a building. At that point, Hevreh was a group of about 25 or 30 families on a good day, and meeting in people's homes.
We sometimes had services at the senior center, sometimes at David Hillman's office.
But it was clear that what we really needed to do was build community, build Hevreh, grow Hevreh as a community.
After a few years, we began to feel that we needed a more professional approach to things like the High Holy Days.
And we found Mahawi Street and made it into a tiny little synagogue.
Then we got to the point where we felt we could manage to support a part-time rabbi, and that's when Debbie Zecker came on board.
I came in as what I thought was the one-year rabbi of Hevreh. The building on Mahawi Street was purchased about a month after I got here, but I still didn't know that I would be employed beyond 1 year. So when I came to the Berkshires, I had no idea that Hevreh would become my rabbinic home.
She just was probably one of the shining lights in this community, working with families and young children.
I believed that Hevreh was a laboratory for learning and living Judaism. And these were people who were looking to establish themselves as a community. And Hevreh was the address for that. There were some years that we were adding 50 families a year. And so the little house on Mahawi Street got fuller and fuller and fuller.
We were bursting out of the seams. You would go at Hanukkah. It was probably the most scaring event to be at because everyone was supposed to bring their Hanukkah, and you would bring them, and I would always sit near the exit.
It was time to build a new synagogue. We owned this land and said this would be a perfect place to put it. Of course, there was a lot of controversy about that. People didn't want to give up Mehewi Street. They thought the whole face of the synagogue would change. It was voted on, and they decided to accept our offer of the land. And then it took off from there.
I was in charge of the house committee when this building, Hevreh, first opened on State Road. There was a big worry moving from 41 Mehewi from some people that this was going to be not such a Hamish building. Moving here was tremendous.
The day this place opened was remarkable. I don't know if you were told the story about the journey of the Torahs from one building to another. And the most beautiful part of it was taking the Torahs from the old building, walking through the streets of Great Barrington, and having the people from the community on the streets follow us here. And it was really...
Honk their horns,
cheering. It was an incredible day, very emotional day.
It was an intergenerational walk. The Torahs were carried by adults, they were carried by kids. The look on people's faces as they carried the Torahs was amazing.
We were just so happy.
Yeah.
I've never felt,
It was probably one of the highlights of my life.
41 Mehewi was a house, and it was a wonderful house. But when they built this and designed it, it still had the feeling that of a wonderful, warm synagogue.
There is this welcoming, embracing feeling still.
There have been some changes, obviously, with our growth and our surroundings, but there are pieces of Hevreh that are absolutely positively the same as when we walked into that senior center, and some older congregants who are no longer with us picked up my little kids and said, "You belong."
When people who have been here around for a long time say who we are and how we came to be, one of the most beloved stories to tell is how it was a handful of students, studying for their bar and bat mitzvah in David Hellman's law office, and now we have this beautiful school wing, with 7 or 8 classrooms filled on any given Sunday or Wednesday.
These amazing human beings at such a significant time in their lives, work with them and spend time with them, and then stand with them on the bima, that person and me, in front of that open ark, and have an opportunity to say what was in my heart about that child. That's a gift that I will never, ever forget as long as I live.
When I look at the young people in the confirmation class, and I see how brilliant they are and emotional, how they write their speeches and how they speak, it is just an outstanding tribute to what goes on here.
We are a community of learners. There are opportunities to study just about anything that anybody would want. All you have to do is talk to one of the rabbis and say, "I'm interested in this," and the next thing you know, there's a class.
Over these past years, for Rabbi Zecher, music was a part of how she taught, right? She was the rabbi, she was teaching, she was leading, she was officiating ritual, and she was singing, and she was getting others to sing with her.
Hevreh has a choir, as we know, and Hevreh's choir is a really significant piece of Hevreh's life. And one of the reasons that I started the choir was that Joshua and Adam wanted to come to high holiday services, and they both sang from a very early age. And so I didn't want them to sit out in the sanctuary with nobody to take care of them. So if I started a choir and the choir sat next to the bima, I had my kids right next to me.
Making music with my mom and with the choir are some of the most meaningful times and memories that I have at Hevreh.
This congregation knows who they are, celebrates who they are, and also part of that is a celebration and an excitement for what could be.
In celebration of 40th year, looking to the future, it's extremely exciting.
One of our strengths right now is our rabbinic team. Rabbi Zecher was a huge strength for us, and we have transitioned to a whole new chapter in the life of the congregation.
The new rabbi, and he's young and exuberant and he's full of life, and I think that it's exactly what you need.
In a way, I almost had the feeling when I went to services of almost like a proud papa.
We've got the tradition of Hevreh and what it's been for the last 40 years, and then we have what it's going to be. And we don't know, but we're all excited to see what's going to happen next.
Hevreh is an intentional community. It's a congregation where nobody's here by accident.
In making that conscious decision, there's a stronger tie that binds the individual to Hevreh, and I think that's part of what makes Hevreh special.
It's also a very egalitarian place. I mean, there are no plaques here that commemorate somebody who has given us a lot of money. There are no assigned seats during the high holidays, and so anybody can participate in anything, irrespective of how much money they may have given or not given to the congregation.
We're in an interfaith family, and I guess my view of being part of the family is I'm the one who's not Jewish. It's been a great place to raise a family.
It was beyond words, truly.
So welcoming.
They were so welcoming and so accepting. They not only gave us the library, they gave us a Sefer Torah to use, and they asked nothing of us.
What she really wanted was one large community that had options to daven in different ways, and that the Minyan should really feel that they're a part of the Hevreh community.
Didn't she say, what could be better than more Jews praying together?
Yes.
At the idea of
Right.
welcoming the Minyan.
I measured this congregation, not by the brilliance of the sermon, but by the bond between the rabbi and the members and the members and the members.
We have a beautiful building, beautiful grounds, but it's the people, from the rabbis to the youngest child. That's what makes Hevreh special to me.
The smiles and the affection and the love that people have when they are together here, that is something that's precious.
Walking through the halls and seeing all the children's artwork and knowing that these are the voices of the future.
The greatest pleasure that we have is coming here and not knowing so many of the people, which means that whatever we did has lived way beyond what we knew.
It means there is a future for this congregation.
If you walk through these doors, you're automatically part of this community.
Hevreh is an incredible place for the whole family.
Hevreh is a place of forever existing Jewish life and spirit and culture and love.
All of our memories of Hevreh are sparkling, bright.
This is my family.
Hevreh is a place filled with wonderful people.
Hevreh is awesome. Hevreh is an exciting and amazing place.
Hevreh is an awesome community.
Hevreh is God.
Bottom line is everybody needs community. And when you have community, you're never alone.
To a land that I will show.